Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you're here today. I was going to film a really different video, but then I thought that this was kind of a video that I needed to make, that I wanted to make to help any of you who may be suffering from fear of flying or turbulence or any aspect of air travel, because I have been there and I want to give you some kind of different, unique tips to help you cope with those fears and anxieties for your next flight. If you are interested in learning some of my personal tips to cope with fear of flying or fear of turbulence, please keep on watching. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have noticed that my husband and I recently went on a trip to California. My younger brother, he just entered college and he lives in Los Angeles now. So we went out to visit him and we flew. We flew from my home to Las Vegas, actually, because it was a lot cheaper to fly to Las Vegas than to Los Angeles. And it was about a 2.5, 3 hour flight. So it really wasn't a bad flight. And just a little background for you, I've flown all my life. This was not the first time I'd flown, and since I was little, I've flown, probably close to 50 times. I've flown overseas, I've flown domestically, so I'm not a rookie when it comes to flying, but for some reason, it still kind of gives me anxiety. It makes me feel nervous for a myriad of reasons that I won't get into now, because I don't want to make it worse for any of you or give you any new fears. But just to let you know, you're not alone. So many people struggle with fears, and even if they're a veteran, flyer, they may still experience some fears or anxieties when it comes to, before boarding or takeoff, in flight, turbulence, landing. There's so many things that can cause people stress. So I am here to hopefully help. And the last flight I took, it wasn't perfect for me. I still felt very nervous, and that's okay. But the thing is that you overcome those fears and you still get to your destination. You have a good time. So I'm going to give you some tips today to hopefully help you cope with your anxieties while you're flying, or right before, or even after. So thank you for watching, and let's get into the tips. So my first tip would be to pack your carry-on bag wisely. I think that when it comes to anxiety and nervousness, being prepared is really key, because you know then that you have tools at your disposal that you can easily reach. And I'm not talking about, in your checked bag or in a big carry-on suitcase that you shove up in the top. This needs to be accessible in your purse, in your backpack, in a little, a case, whatever. But this needs to be accessible to you, and you need to be equipped with things that are going to help you. So I'm going to give you a few items that I personally would recommend to have on hand. So number one is a charged iPad, iPhone, your cell phone, media player, tablet, anything, something that is going to distract you, that can work offline, that you can listen to music, that you can play games on, something like that. So that and headphones I think are really important, because sometimes you just need to put in the headphones, drown out the rest of the world, know that you're safe, breathe, center on yourself. You need to have some kind of device. You can buy a cheap iPod on Amazon, or look on eBay if you don't have a device, but I think that that's really helpful. Or if you don't, maybe a newspaper, a magazine, a book, something that is going to focus your mind on something other than what's going on around you. My second tip to have, my second kind of set of items that I think you may want to bring in your accessible carry-on bag, are some healthy snacks. Now, your stomach might be upset, you might not feel like eating, or you might be extremely hungry. Anxiety and nervousness affects all of us in different ways, but I would recommend having healthy snacks. Some of my favorite things to pack are like Skinny Pop, some kind of popcorn. It has some fiber, but it's very light, not like a thick butter movie theater popcorn, but something light like a Skinny Pop. I love that snack because it's easy to pack. It doesn't get squished super easily, and it's really easy, it's cheap, it's affordable. So that's something I love. I also like raisins, prunes, little dried fruit, dried apples I think are really good. You want to stick with something that's healthy, because you don't want to upset your stomach. You don't want to have any kind of, acid reflux, indigestion. You don't want to aggravate any symptoms that you may already be feeling as a result of your anxiety. So I would recommend having a healthy snack. That way, if you do get hungry, if you do feel like you need something to eat, you don't have to pay the egregious prices for airline food, but you still have something, that's easy, cheap, and easily accessible. I would also recommend having water. This might be self-explanatory, but sometimes I think, oh, it's only an hour flight. Like, I'll be fine with a little cup they give me, but no, I'm usually thirsty, especially when you're anxious. Your body's working overtime because your heart is beating fast. You might be sweating. If you're nervous, you want to have your own water that you can just, chug if you need to. So bring an empty water bottle to the airport, or buy one if you have to. But I think it's really important to have your own water if you can. Another thing that I would recommend bringing would be a notepad and a pencil, or a pen, something that you can write on. I read a tip actually that says if you're in the middle of turbulence and you need to kind of distract your mind, take a pen in your opposite hand. So for me, that would be my left hand, and try to write your full name, because it really singles your mind. It singles your focus. So that you can stop yourself from feeling fear, so that your mind isn't constantly going through this fear cycle, and that you're focusing on writing. That tip worked kind of for me, but I find that I need a lot more than that to just calm me down, because it distracts you for about 30 seconds, but then after that it's like, okay, I'm done, what else? And that's what I feel like is a lot of times my problem, is that I feel like I need more than just a tiny little distraction. And that's another reason why I wanted to make this video, because I felt like I was watching videos and all the tips were just like, oh, try this or this one little thing. So I wanted to give you a bunch of ideas to perhaps help calm you. Now, I don't usually use my cell phone for games, or my my husband's tablet. We're not really big gamers. I don't have a lot of games on my phone, but one thing that I noticed is that playing kind of time management or really focused games helps me so much. It takes my mind completely out of what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, and singles it in onto what I'm playing on my phone. I love time management games like Diner Dash, Hotel Dash, the Dash consortium of time management. I think that they are great because they are so fast paced. Your mind is never sitting there waiting for something to load, or constantly waiting for things. You are just constantly tapping on the screen. You have to focus. You have to manage things, and it can be a little bit of a stressful game sometimes, but I love having that game. And I think that that's one of the most powerful tools, is really distraction when you're faced with fear of flying, or you're in the flight and you're worried about turbulence, or you're worried about this or this. So I would really recommend, if you have the resources or capabilities, download some fun, really kind of challenging games. And I'm not talking about like Sudoku or anything like that. I'm talking about games that really just keep your mind active, keep your fingers active, keep your mind focused on what's going on your little screen, and not what's going on around you. Another item that I would recommend bringing would be some kind of comfort item. Now, traditionally you might think, oh, like a stuffed animal, or a blanket or something, but it doesn't have to be that. Personally, I know this may sound kind of weird, but I'm really trying to be honest with you guys, and let you know what I actually do to get over my fear. So I love these little like makeup sponges. They're kind of like a little stress ball for me. They're really soft, they're tiny, they're discreet. People aren't going to know what you're doing. It's not like you're having a stress ball and you're going crazy on it. You just have this. Sometimes I put one of these in my pocket and just kind of like touch it or squeeze it if I'm feeling anxious, just as kind of a stress relief, like a centering my energy on something. So these are pretty cheap. You can get them at the dollar store or drugstore, something like that. But finding something little that you might be able to squeeze, like a stress ball, or these cosmetic sponges, might help you in times of stress on an airplane. Something else I love to do is listen to inspirational speakers, motivational speakers, sermons, anything like that that's going to get me inspired, that's going to remind me that my life and what's going on in my mind is bigger than what I'm experiencing at that moment. I love listening to Joel Osteen. I find his videos calming and relaxing and inspirational, and they remind me that I have bigger and better things to do after I get off the flight. So that helps me a lot. Something else that I love to do, and maybe worthwhile for you to do, is to I downloaded the YouTube app on my phone, and I paid for YouTube Red. Now I pay for this every month, but I believe you can get a free trial, and it's $10 a month. And I know that may seem kind of crazy or expensive for a one-time flight, but honestly it's worth it for me when I fly, to be able to download videos and save them on my YouTube app offline. So I usually fly the cheapest airlines I can, and most of the time I don't have Wi-Fi. in flight. So I have been on planes that do, but for those that don't, I love to be able to watch videos online. Now I go and I download 5 or 6 videos, and I try to download videos for the duration of the flight if I can, that are, inspiring, positive, calming to me. I'll download some of my favorite YouTubers videos. I love watching makeup tutorials. Sometimes I'll, download meditation videos or funny videos that will get my mind off of what's going on. And sometimes I find that those aren't enough. Sometimes I feel like I need other things. I need to incorporate some other tips while I'm listening to the YouTube videos, but I love having those, feeling like someone is talking to me, feeling, calm, doing an activity that I do in my own home all the time. I love watching YouTube videos, so I really think that downloading YouTube videos offline, in a legal way, may be helpful for you if you're struggling in flight, or if there's a way you can download TV shows or videos on your phone or computer or something, watching a video if they have it on flight. But sometimes that's really distracting and helpful if you're nervous. This tip is kind of applies to if you feel like you are having a full-blown, panic attack of some sort. You feel nervous, you feel hot, sweaty, you feel panicked, you feel like you really want to get off the plane. Something I like to do, again, I'm not sure really why this works, and it might sound strange, but looking at myself in a mirror sometimes calms me down. So what I do is I pack just a little tiny makeup palette. This is my Too Faced Peanut Butter and Honey palette. I love it. It's sturdy, it's metal. It's, it has a magnetic closure. If you drop it, it's not going to shatter, hopefully, but it has this nice little mirror. Sometimes I feel just, taking the mirror out, and, you can just kind of fake that you're checking your makeup or whatever, but looking at yourself and telling yourself that it is going to be okay. Sometimes I feel like I get so caught up in my own mind, in my own circumstance. My mind just starts swirling that I don't, I feel like looking at myself may, kind of helps remind myself that I am here, I'm fine, and I'm breathing. Another thing that I love to do is get a heat patch. Now I love these Thermacare heat wraps. These are actually used for menstrual pain. I use these when I'm on my period a lot, just because the heat really tends to relax my muscles and help when I have cramps, but also I love these because they stick to your stomach. So if you feel like you feel nauseous, you feel like your stomach is upset, you're having indigestion, anything like that, a lot of times heat will seriously help mitigate those symptoms. So I love these because they stick right to you. Now, so I've tried some like back pain relief, but I love these menstrual ones because they are sticky. These are like $6 at CVS. You get a couple. You want to tear it open right when you get on the plane. That way it starts heating up. It can take about 30 minutes to heat up. So even if you want to do it before, the heat lasts for up to 8 hours. So hopefully your flight is shorter than that, and you can just use one the entire time. If it's longer than that, maybe bring 2. Just have it ready, have it heating up, as you notice the first one is starting to cool down. But I love these because they really help calm my muscles. They give me some warmth, especially if the airplane is cold. That can sometimes make you tense, more nervous. So I would really recommend getting something like this. Another thing you may want to do, although I recommend that you be cautious with this tip, is to read facts about airline flight and travel. Now, I wouldn't just go Google, airline facts or, something like that. I would maybe Google, how to get over fear of flying or something, and read about how safe air travel is, and, read about how rare extreme turbulence is, and read about facts that are going to comfort you and help, get you on the right path to get you calm during your flight. Something else that I love to do is to get comfortable on my flight. I find that really helps relax me, gets me in the mood, and remind me that this is going to be a peaceful activity. There's no cause for alarm. So I love to, make sure I have fuzzy socks. I like to dress pretty comfortably and casually, or, if I find that I do have to dress up, wear something that is soft, breathable, comfortable, flexible, something that isn't going to really restrict me. So I love to wear fuzzy socks. I also love having a blanket. Usually, I go to Walmart, or, I bring one if I can. Walmart has throw blankets for about $3. So I just get a nice, light throw blanket. It's pretty compact. I put it in my backpack, or I tie it to the outside of my backpack. And it just helps keep me warm. It helps make me feel kind of like I have my own space. I'm covered, I'm comfortable, and I just love making sure that I am comfortable physically for the flight. Another thing that I want you to remember is that you are not stuck in your seat. If you need to get up, if you start to feel panicked, just tap on the person next to you if you're in the window or in the middle, and get up and go to the restroom. If you're feeling seriously panicked, even if you don't feel like you need to go, just get up and walk around, look, touch other seats, feel the plane, feel how sturdy it is. Go talk to a flight attendant if you need to. You are not stuck in isolation on this plane. You're surrounded by people. You are safe, you're protected, and you are not alone. If you feel panicked, don't just sit there and suffer in silence. Tell someone, tell the person you're with, tell a flight attendant, tell the person next to you that you're feeling nervous, and chances are they're going to be kind to you. So ask for help, be supported if that's what you need. I really hope that these tips were helpful for you. I know that for those of us with anxiety or nervousness, that flying can be intimidating and challenging, but it doesn't have to be. And I believe that with the right amount of preparation and the mindset and the right tools, you can make your flight more comfortable. I'm not saying that all of a sudden you're gonna wake up and you're gonna just love to fly and you're gonna want to go all over the place. But if you have to fly, or if you want to fly, as a lot of us do, we want to be able to travel and do things and visit our friends and family. Flying is necessary and important. So it's very useful and wonderful to be able to fly comfortably. I really hope these tips helped you all. If you have any tips that you'd like to share, please leave them in the comments below. I'll read them, and I'd love to hear what your tips are for dealing with fear of flying, turbulence, air travel. I hope that wherever you go, you have a safe, wonderful flight and a great trip. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.